All right, welcome to the Magnolia Shine podcast with Coach Oz today. Andrew Abity down in the Pine Belt. We're going to talk a lot of baseball, of course, today, but we wanted to start with music because we thought that would be kind of fun to kind of start this off. So, Andrew, I'm going to let you ask this question because I don't think Coach Oz has any idea what's about to hit him.
Okay, Oz. All right. So I know you're a big Pearl Jam guy. I know you love '90s rock. Baseball America kind of wrote about that last year. All right. So I've been thinking about this. And I know you guys always like to come out to Bulls on Parade by Rage Against the Machine. And I was wondering, are you intending to A, change that song, but more so change it on Sunday morning? Because there's nothing better than when it's a Sunday morning in Hattiesburg. It's quiet. It's beautiful. The literal church bells are ringing in right field. And then all of a sudden you just hear, it's Bulls on Parade. And so I wanted to ask you that first question.
Well, I'm not one that I don't like changing culture a lot, and that's been a part of what we've used that a while, and it fits. And I don't know if I feel comfortable changing that this year. I give a little more flexibility to song number two after Bulls on Parade, so it's usually about a 2-song period with that in and out. And so what we've done is we've kind of adjusted that over the years. You can have some variants and stuff. So. We'll see, to be determined, come on February 14th and you'll get that answer.
Is there anything that's off limits music-wise?
Well, for me, obviously I don't want vulgarity and all that. We got great fan bases.
No, wait, hold on. That's right, because Rage Against the Machine is never what's the narrative?
Well, if you get the edited version, is good. So. No, we definitely want to be cautious of that. I love music. It is pretty well documented. Our players, they know my taste and style. They probably don't like it a lot. My style and taste doesn't match up with a lot of theirs. And we have fun with it. We do. It's kind of mental warfare. We kind of say, hey, I don't care what you like, and practice is mine. Games. You got your walk-up songs and all that. You can have your identity. But we have fun with it.
Yeah, I like the country music. But hold on, Andrew. I want to ask him this. Grateful Dead fan?
Absolutely, yeah. Big Grateful Dead fan.
So my dad took me to a Grateful Dead concert when I was 11 years old.
Oh, wow.
And I was introduced to a certain drug.
Uh-oh.
Because I was like, Dad, what's the smell going on in here? It smells off in this menu. And my dad had to sit there and then, you finally explain, why Grateful Dead has no shoes on and it smells weird in the in the venue.
I have a more
definitely unique for sure.
Who's the better band, Pearl Jam or Grateful Dead?
They're just so different genres, man. Just different moods, different. People ask me, your favorite. It's a mood thing, It's a vibe, whatever, and so that's kind of the way I look at it. You can't. Pearl Jam's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm sure Grateful Dead is too. So so it's obviously they're both pretty good bands.
Yeah, 2 bands I've seen live. How about that? That's actually pretty good. Like Casey.
I'm impressed, Blake. I'm impressed with that.
When your dad's a music agent, you grow up and you just kind of end up going like I saw James Brown before he died. It's just kind of
Wow.
run into all these things, in a weird way because of his career. But Coach, let's talk a little baseball because I know you love talking about that all day long, 24/7. You can't shut it off, I assume. This schedule is pretty tough at the beginning of the season. You did that on purpose, right?
Yeah, we're just doing what we've been doing, honestly, and I'm not trying to be nonchalant or casual with it. It really is. It's the model that's worked. I've said it many, many times. I think Coach Barry really figured out that formula several years ago, and now we're just trying to carry it on of trying to put together a really tough non-conference weekend slate where we're at and where we're located. Our midweek games are going to be very competitive. You got 5 against SECs. You can add Tulane in there and as well as others. But, so it's a schedule. And then the league, the Sun Belt, the league itself is, those 30 games are going to be challenging. So, it just kind of works, man. It's a good schedule. I feel like it is. We feel like it is. And it's going to be challenging, but, that's what baseball, you got to play good baseball to beat anybody. It don't matter if it's the number one team in the nation or the number 250th team in the nation. If you don't play well, you can lose in baseball. And so we're just going to go out there and try to play the best baseball we can each game.
Oz, I wanted to ask, I know the TCU series is one that's going to pop out to people, and I do want to ask how that one kind of came to be, but, the other kind of big one in my mind is, UNC Wilmington has probably been one of the other most consistent programs out there in the last, probably same span as you guys, honestly. Can you kind of just speak on how those two series came about?
Well, the one with TCU was in the works for a while early, and really we had it originally. They would have been here last year. That was the original plan concept. They were going to be here last year, and then us returning that trip this year. And I guess when Coach Schlossnagel maybe left TCU and Kirk got it, there were just some changes, whatever. Well, the value of it for us to keep going there, there's a lot of value. So I said, well, if you won't come here, whatever, we still will come there, and we want that opportunity. So that's kind of how that played out, and we're very thankful for that. It's a great opponent. Look forward to going to Fort Worth and competing over there. And then UNC Wilmington. I'm trying to sit here. I was pulling it up, and I'll tell you the exact date if I can find it. Anyway, I don't know if I can, but Coach Hood over there at UNC Wilmington called me up out of the blue, man, and just said, "Hey, heard great things about your place. Heard great, I know it's a great program, great competition, great environment, good for both sides, from an RPI standpoint." I said, "Absolutely, done. Let's roll." And it's kind of, to me, it's in that same mix of getting Indiana State here like we did last year. I mean, same type program. That's a postseason regional program, great program. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a dogfight, I can tell you that. But they're a great program. It'll be a big challenge for us for sure.
Do you like the RPI system? Do you think that helps you guys?
I do. I think there's some things, the KPI stuff, adjustments they talk about. I think there's some things that can make it a little bit. There should be a little forgiveness somewhere in there too, with some things that's out of your control. I feel like it's a very nerve-wracking feeling when you get into the end of a season and you're and I hate saying it like this, but your conference schedule that you have no control over, and you're matching up playing somebody whose RPI that year might not be great. And well, we don't have control over that. And man, if you lose a game, that could be, that could have huge implications. And that's tough, man, when you've worked so hard and you're your 50th game into it and your guys have done it. And now just because of the schedule and because of the situation that you have no control over, that you could get so punished and stuff. So that's part of life at our level, and that we got to roll with it and embrace it.
Yeah, crazy that you can be punished for winning a baseball game, as you said. Baseball is one of those weird things. I mean, you could be facing that team's ace that day. They got a bunch of bad players or whatever it is. Maybe not bad players; they're all Division I athletes. But let's say they got an ace pitcher, and you just so happen to run into him that day, and he one hits you, and you're like, well, we gave up one run, and we lose a game. Like you said, like there's no forgiveness, I guess, in a mathematical equation.
A sun ball, a bad hop, and you look up, man, and it's like, what just happened? And but that's whatever, it is what it is, and you just gotta go out there and try to control what you can control.
Oz, I wanted to ask you about just kind of how the spring scrimmages have been going. I've been out there a good bit, and I think kind of the thing that I can't figure out this lineup yet, and I say that out of, it's not so much that it's not it's not a genuine question mark of who's going to play where, but more of, it seems like there are so many position battles where two guys are almost equally as talented, and it's given you more options than maybe you even like. I don't know. I mean, just how have you just seen this thing unfold? And I mean, like, a perfect example is Jake Cook. Oh my gosh, I thought it would have been Higdon's job, and I know you said on media day it's a battle between him, but Jake Cook's bat has just been lights out this past weekend, and that's just one example. How do you kind of just see this lineup right now?
Well, I see it. I see it having multiple right answers, and that's a good thing. Because we all know you're going to have to weather some storms or something happening through a year, an injury or whatever, and you're going to need guys to be able to replace, to insert someone when somebody goes down and stuff. And I think it feels like we'll have to go see, but we're going to be prepared for that. So, um, you know, there is some good competition battles going on, and I think there are multiple right answers, and um, we still have more meat on the bone. They still have time to make a statement and continue to make a statement. And we got practice this week, scrimmages this weekend, and stuff. So, whatever, man. I'd rather be on this end of it than it being real easy to write a lineup because there's not enough options. But it's talking with our staff and a lot of meetings, a lot of evaluations. Just trying to make the right answer, and sometimes it's easier to find. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer.
And then two, oh, go ahead, Blake.
I was gonna say, how do you handle if somebody is in a preseason slump in a sense, let's say they're slumping at the plate or, struggling pitching. How do you handle that? Okay, they're competing for a spot. I've seen what this guy has done in the past. Maybe he's slumping right now. Like, because I feel like baseball, unlike other sports, slumps can come and go differently
Mm-hmm.
than, what you expect every single day from a quarterback or maybe a point guard. How do you handle judging a competition when you know that there are such things as baseball slumps and he may come out on fire if he played day one?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, because baseball is a game of repetition. Getting at bats under your belt and stuff. It's very very hard sport to just walk out there and go, hey, you haven't had any opportunity. If you don't do it in these three at bats, you're not getting another one. That's not fair. I mean, that's tough, but that's kind of what the practice is for and the scrimmages and stuff. So, at the end of the day, I think after these last weekend, this weekend, and next weekend scrimmage, I bet our players will have roughly 35, 40 at bats. That's a decent sample size, and stuff. And some guys might be, showing consistency and rhythm and stuff like that. Well, that you got to make some decisions based on some of that, right? And then you get to the season, and and what's the number of at bats before you realize, hey, I need to make a change. I don't know. It's a feel thing and stuff, but sometimes being pulled out of a lineup and being on that bench and supporting and cheering your teammates is a great way to get out of a slump, when that time comes and just kind of recalculate, resets you and stuff. So having a team that I feel like has depth and some really good pieces to it, I think competition should elevate you. And hopefully that's what happens.
Oz, you got obviously a lot of true freshmen on this year's particular team, and I wanted to ask you about two of them particularly, and not to knock any of the true freshmen, because again, you said this on media day, they've all looked pretty solid, and I've also have kind of seen the same thing. But man, Graydon Harris does not pitch like he's a true freshman. Can you talk about what it is you've kind of seen from him? I mean, he's a left-hander. He's only pumping about 91, 92, but man, I'd argue he's in my mind at least, he has a chance to be in that starting pitching rotation at some point.
Yeah, he's done great, man. I've been very pleased. He went 3 innings last weekend, 4 innings yesterday. We're going to try to bump him to five this weekend. I felt like his stuff maintained once he got to, pitch 50, 55, 60, which is something you want to see. His poise has been very impressive. Yeah, I mean, no, I'm very proud. I knew, long relationship with that kid, started recruiting when he was 14 years old. And, so there's a lot of history and in there and knowing what he is. He works hard and he's earned where he's at right now. He's earned this opportunity and he's doing great. And you want to protect your puppies if you can, if you will, a little bit, but at the same time you don't want to hold them back. And he certainly is looking like he's ready to bite off a big chunk of those innings in whatever role it ends up being.
Have you seen a freshman similar to him in your time here with the way he's developed or at least arrived to you?
There's probably been a few that I'm not going to pin it on him. I'm not going to
Mhm.
put that, that hex on him. But think of Tanner Hall a little bit. Tanner's freshman year, Tanner wasn't what he was a sophomore and junior year. But you started seeing signs of some things coming that like, okay, there's this could be special, and hopefully, Graydon, follows suit with that. Just like what we're seeing now, but no, there's even more growth coming as we go.
All
And
right,
then
we
the
got
second.
about five. Oh, go ahead, Andrew. You take this, man.
He told me to. No, the second one I just wanted to ask about. D1 baseball has kind of hyped him up already, but Dre Barrett, man, I know he's in that battle for third base with Seth Smith. The defense is there, but he's swinging he's not swinging it like he's a true freshman.
No, not at all. He's got a gift, and we know that, and he's and it's not just the ability to put the barrel on the ball. It's not just power or whatever. It's he's got a he understands it a little bit, and his discipline is at a young age with pitch recognition and laying off some pitches. You're going like, man, how did that kid not swing at that? It's pretty impressive. So. Yeah, hopefully he keeps building and growing. Great battle between him and Seth right now at third base, 100%. And I think Seth's been playing really well defensively, and Dre's been fine too. So it's great problems to have.
All right, we got about 5 more minutes here before we let you go because I know you got to do a bunch of kind of interviews, pretty much, I guess, all the time. I guess that's part of being a head coach. But
Sure.
changing the topic a little bit, you had a pretty good coach in your day with Mike Kinnison. I was joking with Andrew. I said, Mike Kinnison could get pretty intense. You got any fun stories about him and his intensity on a baseball field?
Oh man. Well, first of all, huge mentor to me. Means the world to me. Love him. Talked to him last week actually. Wouldn't be where I'm at without his influence and guidance. But tough doesn't describe it. Toughness doesn't describe it. Behind the door, we call him the rattlesnake, whatever. But, as a player, the reverence I had for him as a player, he was an assistant coach when I was a player there, but then getting to coach with him really for 6 years, it shaped and molded me in ways that I didn't realize, was happening at that time. But man, so many stories. I could go on and on just, watching that guy going up there and throwing batting practice right-handed and just firing it in there. Then turns the screen around, starts doing it left-handed and looks the exact same. I'm like going, good Lord, this guy's, just things like that. But really ultimately is the toughness and it's funny you bring up Delta State, and I'll share this real quick is we still have a group from the 96 team, whatever, that year. We had a really good team, 53-8, got beat by Kennesaw State in the national. They ended up winning the national championship that year. So that group of players, to this day, we have a group chat that we are all on. I mean, there's 30 of us, and we all stay engaged. You love each other. We talk about it, the stories, the fun stuff. And if you looked at all those guys, and man, it's crazy how successful. And I'm not talking about monetary success or whatever, just, as husbands, fathers, whatever they are, just successful people and stuff. And we all talk about it, and we credit it to what we learned at Delta State, playing for those men, playing for Coach Kinnison, and the discipline and the competitiveness and just the ability to handle adversity that comes with life and stuff. So, but no, Coach Kinnison, man, he is one of the best coaches ever, and and he's influenced a lot of men.
Andrew, isn't that funny there? I asked him a question about something funny that Kinnison did, and all he did was give us about 2.5 minutes of how great of a man he was instead of giving a story. And, I guess that's kind of the point of it, right? I mean, I guess that's your point, right? Is someone just brings up that name and you go, wow, he shaped my life.
Well, he did, and so many others and stuff. Now there are some fun stories. He'd probably get mad if I told. I'll tell you one. I'll tell you one fun one real quick. So back in the day, then we're taking bus trips. It's VHS tapes and stuff going in, and the movie Life. You know the movie Life.
I don't know that
Andrew, you
one.
never seen the movie Life? Blake, have
No.
you ever seen the movie Life?
No. Please let me in.
Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence. Anyway,
Right.
a funny movie that I didn't see Coach Kinnison laugh too hard too many times, but I'm going to tell you, every time that movie would come on, I would see Coach Kennan laughing so hard he would cry, and so that was always something we jabbing with a little bit. But that was awesome. But no, but back to seriousness, man. Yeah, he did. I think there'd be, if you ask anybody that played for him, they'd have that same feel.
Go ahead, Andrew. Ask the final question.
Oh man. Well, I'm gonna have to put that on my movie list, and I consider myself a movie nerd, so that's definitely on the to-do list now. But I think final question is, what are you hoping to see from this group the last weekend before the season starts? How does somebody make or break winning a job at this point?
I mean, they just got to go out there and play the game. It's a hard game, and I know this sounds very cliche. Is what I'm saying. There's nothing they can't go out there and throw it harder all of a sudden, or hit it further all of a sudden, or run faster all of a sudden. Just go out and show consistency. That's the biggest thing. That's all a coach asks for. It's all we ask for. It's just we want to know what we're getting. When we put a guy in the lineup, when we put a guy on the mound. And just being consistent and just keep improving. We're not supposed to be in midseason form. They're not supposed to be in midseason form right now. It's even though the season starts February 14th, there's a tremendous amount of growth that still needs to happen and will happen, and individually and collectively as a team. So just going one day at a time, man. Just go. It's a long season, and there's going to be ups, downs. There's going to be storms, and we just got to weather them. And prepare for them now because we know they're going to come and have some plans and just go from there. But I love this group. I'm not, I really do. I think there's a lot of character. I think there's a lot of chemistry, and I think there's talent there. And they just need to go figure it out and go create their own pulse.